How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. It helps out, means a ton. You guys get plenty of fun stuff, not just Jujutsu Kaisen. We cover plenty of manga on the channel, so stick around and check it out. Anyway, today we got to talk about Megumi Fushiguro's absolutely ridiculous, and I mean ridiculous, potential. Now, obviously, Gojo has talked about it specifically to Megumi. We saw that conversation. Sukuna has even said, like, hey, I need you for something, and has also shown plenty of interest in him. Yeah, it's been brought up a couple different times. Megumi has a lot of potential. Even just his curse technique just goes for big bucks. I mean, his family was going to pay his dad like a lot of money, especially if he had the 10 Shadows technique. So that thing is very well sought after, and, well, that's obviously because it is very powerful. So, yeah. Number one, I always understood Megumi had a ton of potential and would be extremely powerful by the end of the series, but I never really stopped and just started putting all the pieces together and, like, looking at the sandwich that, like, full power Megumi makes. And it's a pretty beefy sandwich, if I do say so. Anyway, with the first ingredient we have is the fact that Megumi, unlike a lot of Shikigami users, is very well adept at hand-to-hand combat. That is huge. We saw it with Geto back in the flashback and in the prequel chapters. Yeah, you're a lot more effective if you can have your Shikigami, which is where a lot of your power typically comes from, doing all the fighting, and then you just add another opponent on top of that. Obviously, the more opponents somebody has to fight, the harder it is for them to actually win. That's just common sense. It's easier for a 1v1 than it is a 1v2. The number two, and this one's also pretty obvious, Megumi unlocked domain expansion at a pretty young age. Like, he's not that old. He's not, as far as Jujutsu sorcerers go, he's not on the far end of the experience spectrum. He still has a lot of experience to gain. And I mean a lot. If this kid lives until he's 28, then that means he still has an absolute crap ton of experience to go. Anyway, yeah, even with this low amount of experience that Megumi has compared to others, he has a domain expansion. Hell, the first time we saw him use it, it was called area expansion instead of domain expansion. So yeah, a lot of room for improvement there, and he unlocked that extremely difficult technique extremely early. So that just goes to show that thing is going to be stupidly strong once he finally really gets it down packed. And as a quick side point, I'd say it's very likely that Megumi at some point will learn how to use reverse curse energy. I'm just saying it's probably going to happen sooner or later, even if it's not in the course of the story. If Megumi doesn't die by the end of the story, probably at some point in his life he would learn how to do it, and that just puts him to another level in general. Obviously, it always does. If you are at a certain level and then you learn reverse curse energy, you have gone up to whatever the next level above you is. That's just how it goes. Anyway, yeah, he doesn't have that right now, so it's kind of just a moot point. Anyway, a really, really big thing, Divine General Mahoraga. He even stated it himself that no user of the 10 Shadows technique has ever been able to exercise Mahoraga. If Megumi does this, then he is absolutely god tier, okay? Now, stack what I said earlier about Megumi being good at hand-to-hand combat on top of him summoning Mahoraga. Excuse me, but you don't want to mess with that. No. So yeah, that right there is just huge. We saw Mahoraga fight 16-finger Sukuna, and while Sukuna was clearly stronger than Mahoraga, I mean, he did demolish him at the end of it, yeah, he still had to use domain expansion, followed up by an extremely devastating fire attack. Like, that thing had a fire column the size of, like, the Empire State Building. It was wild, okay? He had to put so much damage into Mahoraga that is not downplaying Mahoraga. I don't see that and go, oh, see, Mahoraga isn't that strong, look what Sukuna did to him. I see that and go, do you see how much it took to put Mahoraga down? And that is just a Shikigami? Excuse me, if you have to fight that thing, and you have to fight Megumi at the same time getting pincer attacked by the two of them, while possibly Megumi summons more Shikigami on top of that, possibly while using reverse cursed energy, possibly while in the middle of Megumi's domain expansion. Tell me right now, come up with a scenario in your head in which you can put somebody inside of Megumi's domain expansion and make them fight Megumi, who has free will to move throughout those shadows in his domain expansion to his will and make basically shadow clones that can get headshot and not die. You can be in that mess and fight Mahoraga while you have all kinds of Shikigami swarming out of the shadows at the same time. And on top of all of this, he possibly has access to reverse cursed energy. Was that enough of an explanation of setting the scene of what kind of just madness you could possibly deal with at max power Megumi? That is just stupid. Now, this is possibly overstating his potential, but there is nothing to say that he cannot reach this level. There's nothing to say he will, but there's nothing to say he will not either. So, once again, that's even playing field. He has the potential to put a couple different puzzle pieces together and just be an absolute nightmare for anybody to deal with. At that point, the only thing I see beating him is somebody like maybe Sukuna or Gojo just having a more powerful or more refined domain that could overtake Megumi's. Outside of that, what do you do? I guess you could maybe try to hit him with something like domain amplification, things that we saw Jogo trying to do against Gojo during the Shibui incident, things like that. But that just, I mean, you still have Mahoraga and Megumi and possibly other Shikigami that can be summoned outside of the domain. So yeah, you'd basically just have to overpower his domain with your own and have a domain like Gojo's that just makes people stand still and unable to do anything. Because, yeah, even, like, put Mahoraga and Megumi inside of a domain that is slightly more refined than theirs, well, that's not an automatic win. We've seen Megumi and other people deal with domains throughout the series. It's not an automatic win, and you still have Mahoraga there with Megumi. So, yeah, you need an extremely wild domain expansion with an overpowering hacks effect just to deal with this. And that's saying you still have to be more refined than him. This dude, if Akutami just goes all out with Megumi and just gives Megumi all the tools in his box and says, here you go, you can have every tool you need, it's done. It is done. Especially after he gets some experience and really starts refining everything. Absolutely no way anybody's messing with this kid. He has too many tools in the box. Everybody else is given like 6 tools. Megumi is given like 13. It's not fair. But he's got to get Mahoraga. Mahoraga is the key. Once that guy comes in, that's just too much to deal with on the side while already dealing with all of the stuff Megumi can already do without Mahoraga. Mahoraga is the straw that breaks the camel's back when it comes to making Megumi overpowered. It's not Mahoraga by himself. It's him combined with Megumi and everything Megumi can do. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What kind of potential do you think Megumi can have? Do you think I'm maybe overstating what he'll be able to do or what he'll be able to do, like, simultaneously? Maybe it's like Deku at the start of getting all of his different quirks. He can only use a couple of them at first. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, let me know what you think. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Honestly, I hope Gege Akutami kind of just goes all out with Megumi and just gives him the toolbox. But anyway, I'll see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm out.